Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Average Jose's Sports Talk,
Sports Talk
episode 16. And it's
60.
getting close to wrapping up. We got a few weeks left for the NFL season, and then after Super Bowl, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back for season 2 of Average Jose's Sports Talk. But that'll come
Sports
later.
Talk.
That'll come later. This week we got some good stuff to talk about here. Nuggets have been on a good roll lately. Trailblazers have
Yeah, they have.
almost completely switched up their entire starting five. The Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach, hired a new one, and have 3 head coaches on the payroll now. And the NFL playoffs are just getting spicier and spicier. But before we get to all of that, we always got to start with some Immaculate Grid.
Pick'ems.
We could always
I
start with
forgot how we
pick'ems.
did it. I don't know.
We should just start with pick'ems.
True.
All right. Don't look at anything on the screen. Okay. So the top 3 are Bengals, Cowboys, and 50 sack career. And the left 3 are Commanders, Giants, and the Vikings. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that I don't know any of these.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So if you just want to switch to basketball.
Oh, I legit looked this up for. Well, I didn't look this up. I looked because for Hot Takes Later, someone was like, Max Crosby's going to set the record for most sacks next season and take it from TJ Watt. So I was like, oh, what is the record? I looked it up. TJ Watt and Michael Strahan are tied at like 22.5 sacks. I'm pretty sure Michael Strahan played for the Giants, though.
No idea.
I'm going to take a shot and see. Oh, how do they not have a photo for Michael Strahan?
He's not cool enough.
I guess. He hosts like Nickelodeon's like kids awards.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, I bet if you saw a photo, you'd know who it is. Let me see if I can find a photo.
All right.
See if you can see this. That's Michael Strahan in the suit right there. He's got like that. He's got the gap in his teeth. That's how I always identify him. Is he's got that gap, but he's super fun to listen to and talk to.
Talk with him a lot.
No. All right. Commanders. Trying to think. I feel like there's a Bengals receiver. No, I was gonna say I feel like there's a Bengals receiver that came out of the Vikings. I'm thinking of Jamar Chase, and I'm thinking that because he played for LSU, who's gold and purple.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I feel like I've seen Jamar Chase in gold and purple before. I have. It just wasn't in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know any of these actually.
This is a brutal.
This is the worst one I've ever seen.
These are all teams.
I know nothing about any of these teams.
Yeah, this is nuts. Let's start looking it up, I guess.
I feel like I have one for the Vikings sacks, but I don't
know any defensive ends for Commanders or Vikings, so I wouldn't know. Oh, dude. So this person played 2 seasons for the Commanders and a season for the Bengals. You'll know it the second I write it. You know? It was a Lavarenus.
His first name looks like anuses.
Right. It's a cool first name.
Lavarenus Coles.
Yeah. Apparently that's who played for both. Oh wow. Leon Hall did Giants and Bengals. See, it's hard because I feel like I don't know anyone. I haven't known anyone out of like the Bengals until recently when they've actually been worthy of noticing. You know?
Yeah.
The Bengals have always flown under everyone's radar. I feel like because they've never done anything. Nick Vigil played for Bengals and Vikings. Look at that mustache. That's wild. All right, and then Cowboys Vikings. Herschel Walker. Oh, I didn't know he played for both. Huh. I don't even have a photo for him. Disrespectful. Cowboys Giants. We got Everson Walls. Hmm. I love when it's like, oh, I've never even heard of this person. It's probably from like back in the day, and it's like 2018 to present. And you're like, he's playing today, and I don't know who this is.
I
Oh
For
my
the
gosh.
Vikings 50 plus sacks career, I have one. I thought I had one, but
Yeah. Who you got?
Jared Allen.
Oh, yeah. Also, do you want to hear just how casual of fans we are? This player played one season for the Commanders and 5 for the Cowboys. It is none other than Deion Sanders. They don't have a photo for Deion Sanders.
Deion played for Washington.
Yeah, he did one season with the Commanders. I just think the
I
fact
guess
that
I don't know if you can even be considered a casual. How many people know Deion played for Washington?
right, right, and then oh wow, oh for the Washington football team. I thought it was like in ever. This says Ryan Kerrigan
Heard that name.
has the most sacks for the Washington football team with 95.5. He almost put up 100 sacks in his career.
Jared Allen had 136.
Okay, never mind. 95 is not that impressive
I
anymore.
miss Jared Allen, bro, and his number was 69. He played for the Bears and then went to the Vikings, which I was fine with because I've always liked the Vikings.
For basketball, the top 3 we got are Suns, Wizards, and 20 points per game season. And the left 3 are Rockets, Cavs, and Timberwolves. I'm guessing that Harden has had a 20 plus point game season. Yeah. LeBron has definitely had that. Imagine it says no. And then from the Timberwolves, I feel like I always know Timberwolves players, and then when it gets down to it, I don't. I wonder if Carl Anthony Towns has. He has. Cool. All right, your turn. You got the other 2 columns.
Yeah, so for Rockets, Suns, um, we got Tony Tony Blake.
Tony Blake. Cool. Just go ahead and.
Tony Blake for Rockets Suns.
Am I spelling it right? Did I
No,
spell that
it's
right?
Blaik.
Blaik. No, maybe Tony Blair. Is that who you're? No. I do know that John Wall got traded from the Wizards to the Rockets a while ago.
That's what I was saying when I was trying to communicate, but you weren't listening. So.
No, I know you were trying to get there. So don't.
Yeah, it's fair.
Don't
It's fair.
sweat.
It's
No,
fair.
don't sweat. Don't sweat it. Cool. You got any other ones?
Um.
Well,
Well,
you
you
were
forgot
you were
that.
close to this one. So this one is actually Charles Barkley. I think you're like thinking on like the same like wavelength with
Yeah,
Blake.
yeah,
You know, you
yeah,
just got it confused. But that's okay.
yeah.
That's wild, Charles Barkley.
For the Cavs Suns, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, we got Wallace. We got Ben Wallace, obviously.
Oh.
That's funny. It's so funny because I can't think of a single male name. The only thing that was in my head the whole time was Tony Blake.
That's a close guess. It was actually Kevin Johnson, but you were like definitely
That's the
on
most
like.
basic name I could have said, and I didn't say it.
You were on the right track. I'll give you that one.
That's crazy.
Suns Timberwolves. Who do you got, buddy? This one's super obvious. We actually also could have used this player for Suns Cavaliers. Fun fact, because he's on the Cavs now. So who are you
Oh, he's
thinking?
currently on the Cavs.
Yeah, but he played.
I
He
know
played.
all of. He's on the starting roster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I type his first name? Let's.
I would get it. I would get it. Rick Ross.
No, no,
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
no.
Type the first letter of the last name. Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting to see at all.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's just the one. All right, Wizards Cavaliers. This dude played 4 seasons for the Wizards and 4 for the Timberwolves, so it'll be pretty easy to get for sure.
Oh, Gerald Sonny.
With a G.
Yeah.
You said Sonny. No, it's not Gerald Sonny. Is it IE? Maybe no.
Oh,
Um,
it's O. It's SO.
you were really close though. It's actually
Oh, Christian Leitner.
what? Oh,
I
hang
was
on.
wrong.
That's because it's this one.
Wow, you sold the game
I
because you
sold the game because I
didn't
clicked the
check.
wrong box. Christian Leitner played Timberwolves Wizards.
That's what I thought.
It would have been Wizards Cavaliers. Oh my gosh. You probably would have guessed this one is insane. You said it already. Ben Wallace. So Wizards Cavaliers. I was typing something in and you were like, oh, Ben Wallace.
No, I said Wallace, and then the first name I read was
Yes,
Ben
was Ben
Wallace.
Wallace. So you literally said Ben Wallace for a different one and it was the middle one. That would have been
Dude, I'm so
insane.
good at this. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Everyone doubts me, but
dude, they're now dropping the new immaculate grids at 4 in the morning our time. So we can start doing them sooner. We could start recording at 4 in the morning.
we could start recording at 4 in the morning.
we
That's
could just
crazy. That's the time that I was up.
we
So
could legit just like play video games until like 3:30 and then set up and record and then go to bed.
that's literally what I did.
All
I
right.
was up until 4:30 this.
Oof. So that was immaculate grid. Let's move on to some team takes. I can go first since you did first last time. So the Portland
Since
Trailblazers
I killed it.
are currently 12-31. They are 14th in the West and struggling. Past 3 games this past
So they're
week.
doing pretty good though.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know basketball. 12 and 31 is like
yeah. It's like golf. You want
it's
the worst
golf,
record.
right?
Yeah, you want the worst. That's actually his.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
actually
So
his
they're
pass.
probably going to be in the
His pass
championship.
completion. He's 12 for 31 um, on passes.
Who's
um,
he?
exactly. Blazers did beat the Pacers on the 19th. They won 118-115, so it was a close one. Jeremy Grant, 37 points. Malcolm Brogdon, 30 points, decent. Anthony Simmons didn't play that game. I think he was like suffering with like knee stuff or something like that. Then we played the Lakers after that.
That was a pretty close game.
Yeah, we lost 134-110. I believe that's the game where LeBron subbed himself out in the middle of like the fourth quarter because he just didn't want to play anymore, and they were already up by like 30.
I got bored.
So that was fun to have that done to us. And then someone in the NBA schedule team hates us because after the Lakers game they gave us the Thunder on January 123. On January 23rd. There's an extra one in there for some reason. Man, January's been going on forever.
I don't know why that was so
Could you imagine being like, it's like April like 20th or something, and you're like, oh yeah, tomorrow's January 123, and there's like, what? You're like, I only think in terms of January.
They
It's
do
like
January until it gets to July, and then the second half of the year
it's
is
just
July.
July. Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. I'm gonna have to start doing
Oh.
that now. That'd be such an impressive party trick,
Oh.
honestly, to just be like, "Oh, it's the last day of January." They're like, "It is June 31st." Oh, so yeah, we played the Thunder just last night. Um, we lost 111 to 109. We were
This was the game
down,
you were telling me about last night.
yeah, so we were down by 1 with like
I thought
10
you said they
seconds.
lost by 3.
I thought they had 2, but then I checked the score and it was like, let's see. Let me double check this real quick.
Let me fact check myself.
Yeah, 111 to 109. So, he must have missed like one of the free throws. Um, he probably missed on purpose so they could rebound it and so that the Trailblazers didn't get a free ball to move up the court. But what
Yeah.
happened was we were down by 1 with like 18 or so seconds left. We had the ball at half court. Guy gets trapped in the corner. Our head coach starts calling timeout so that they can just like get the ball, save the ball, write up a play, whatever. Right? He's calling timeout. The ref just like straight up ignores him, and then the player ends up double dribbling to get out of the coverage, and the ref called the double dribble. So then obviously our coach is like irate over the whole thing, freaking out. He's like, "I'm calling timeout. Like, why do I not get the timeout?" So then they give him a technical and like throw him out. And so because he got a technical for that, a double dribble would not constitute free throws. But because he got a technical, the Thunder got to go shoot free throws. They hit one, missed one for a rebound, I'm guessing. I didn't see. And won the game. I know that the Trailblazers, like, because I don't know if it's like just the season it's new or what, but you can now petition for like the last 2 minutes of the game to be reviewed by like the NBA board, and then they can overturn stuff. I guess I don't know if they just be like, "Oh yeah, that's a bad call. The Trailblazers win now," because it's like just because like we got the timeout off
Yeah.
doesn't mean we could have won the game. Um, Maybe they just void the game for both teams and they just scratch a win and loss off the record is how I'd imagine it's done. But yeah, so they took it to them. I haven't heard anything about what the board has said about it. Typically, it's like all calls in the last 2 minutes of the game are correct, and nothing's overturned. I haven't honestly seen a game where they're like, "Oh, this was a bad call. We're overturning it." Because then it's like, do you just go make them suit up and play 18 seconds of a game real quick? Like, what happens? Which would be
Yeah.
kind of crazy because I know the Lakers did it when they lost earlier this season, and the board was like, "No, you guys lost fair and square." um, so it'll be interesting to see what the NBA board says, and I guess how they because he was clearly calling a timeout. You could very well see it. So I don't know if they'll just be like, "Oh, the ref didn't see it, so it's not like an account." But it's like there's 4 refs on the court for a reason. Someone should be seeing this, right? Like especially
Right.
when it's the last few seconds of such a close game. But I mean, overall, starting five did okay. I mean, 18 points, 17 points, 14 points, 18 points. I think it was just more so they spread the scoring across the board. It wasn't just like these two dudes did 30 points and then this person had four.
Doo-doo-doo.
It's like everyone was contributing pretty well. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a season where we're just like we're trying to figure stuff out now that Damian Lillard's gone, and we're trying to figure out who's going to be the new cornerstone to build around. So it's not going to be a
Right.
season we're going to see too much coming out of it. Beating the Thunder would have been cool, but we'll see. But the Nuggets, dude, they've been on a roll. They beat the Celtics on the 19th. I'm pretty sure that was the Celtics' first home game loss of the season, too.
Well, so I'm looking at standings right now because they're 31 and 14,
Yeah.
and they're third in the West. I was like,
Yep.
what is going on? Like, is the West just killing it or something? So they actually have the most wins in the West,
Yeah.
but they have one extra loss than
Yep.
the Thunder and Timberwolves.
Yep.
So their win percentage is lower,
It's that
obviously.
tournament, dude. It messed up so much
Yeah,
stuff.
so um, we want to be technical about it. They're
They
first
should be
in
leading.
wins, second in the league in wins, behind the Celtics, who they beat. I want to say that was the game that I watched. Yeah, because Jokic had 34, 9, and 12.
It's a good game.
And I was so mad because I was like, nice, I'm going to get to watch him have
A
a
triple double.
triple double in one of the few games that I've like watched this season. And then
Was it like was
he
it like the
didn't get
last like 2 minutes of the game he like gets the ball and he like passes it and the dude just like passes it again. He's like, no, shoot the ball. He like keeps throwing it back to the guy so he could try and get that last assist. Because there was
I
one
don't
game,
think so.
I watched this one earlier this season. I don't remember what team it was, but it was just like rookie, and he almost had like a double double, triple double. He was one assist away. As he was like dribbling up the court, he's like a clear like shot, and he just keeps passing it, and dudes just keep giving it away. And he's like, "No, shoot the ball."
Put
I don't
the
think
ball in the net.
I don't think Jokic is the type that would care. Like you could be like, "Bro, you're the first person to ever get a double five or something, right?" And he's just like, "Cool."
You could be like, you're the first person that's had triple double every single game of the season. And he's like, cool. I know. Is
Is
that
that I'm gonna go get my
and
horses?
like I don't
Okay.
know.
It's gonna take a while. My
Can I
horses
go
are
home now? And I'm
ready.
like, what? Bro, what?
Well, yeah, there was
Get a triple double for 80 something games and you're just yeah, I mean I just
what
whatever.
was the Pacers game where he just dribbled it up and just like hit a 3-pointer and then just walked and sat on the bench because the game was over. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh. He's just the most interesting player to watch.
But like I said, I did watch that game. It was tight. I was not expecting him to win, but I was expecting it to be a close game. I think we talked about it last
This was
episode
a
that I was
big
like,
yeah.
yeah, like this determines if there's still like a top team. I think I even said I'm not expecting them to win, but if they can keep it close, like they're still a top team, and they did win. Crazy game. They
Pretty high
really came
scoring
back in the
considering it was
third.
like two tough teams, you know? I think when like the Timberwolves and the Thunder
Yeah,
played, it was like in the 90s for both teams.
yeah. I mean, they both had big first quarters, 31-32, but then after that, 24, 26, 21, 29, 21, 18. Like Nuggets outscored Celtics in the third and fourth, outscored 5 in the third and 3 in the fourth. So crazy game.
Yeah. That's crazy they handed them their 10th loss. They were still sitting at single digit losses until that game.
Yeah, and then they beat the Wizards by 9. Pacers only by 5. That one surprised me, but
Pacers have been pretty
Jokic
good
did have a
though.
triple double. So
Pacers 7th in the East, 24-20, but I feel like they've been giving a lot of teams like some like tough games.
they
Like
have been because there
the Suns
was,
only beat the
I
Pacers
think
by
it was the
7.
Bucks.
The Nuggets a few weeks ago only beat the Pacers by 8. Um Pacers beat the Celtics by
Celtics was a
2.
2. Yeah,
So I
2. I
mean,
mean, after losing by
beat the
17.
Bucks. Like they've had some they've been giving some teams a run for their money, which has been impressive.
It's just been surprising me because I don't know. The Pacers feel like a team where it's like, oh yeah, that should be a win. Maybe not
Mhm.
like a 30-point win, but more than 5. I feel like, but I don't know anything
Yeah.
about basketball as we've seen on this show. So
I feel like a lot of their players are like players you wouldn't think of as like A-list stars, but they're actually pretty solid. And because they can work together, because I mean, they got Tyrese Halliburton, who's pretty decent, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, Pascal Siakam. Like these are all players who have been a part of like good teams and have been good support players. So when you have a whole team of support players, like you're going to be able to just consistently keep pressure on the other team. And if the other team is only like a few stars and then like some support players, well, then it's like if those stars are starting to fatigue out, well, the Pacers are going to outlast them. You know,
yeah, what's crazy is
Pacers championship.
Golden State doesn't even have a number next to them on ranking
They're
because they're
the
18 and 22.
they're 12th.
Right, but if you look at ESPN,
Mm.
it only has 1 through 10, and then there's a bracket cut, and the bottom 5 don't have
Uh,
numbers next to them
that's
because they're
because
18 and 22.
1 through 10 is the playoffs, I believe. So I think it used to be like 1 through 8, but then 9 and 10 do play in games for the playoffs now. Which it's like at that point, just make it like 1 through 10. because that's basically a playoff matchup. Then if you're just being like, all right, you guys are gonna play to see who's in the playoffs, it's like this is a playoff game. Then like we're basically doing playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets. I mean, it's crazy. We talked about last time. They're such a team where it'll be like they'll coast for the easy games, like wizard type games, and you're just like, okay, like we'll see what they can do. But then like they play like the Celtics and they end up winning. They lost to the Sixers by 5. Was that Embiid's huge game?
It
No,
wasn't a
put up
70-point
40.
game, but
He
that
put up
was the one
40
that I
points though.
watched and we talked about last week.
That's right. So yeah, I just feel like
That was one where it was tied like 78 to 78 at
yeah,
halftime, and they just didn't play the second half.
it's almost like they're like the Bills, where like throughout the regular season they'll just do what they need to do to get in the playoffs, and then they get in the playoffs and they're just like, all right, we'll drop 40 on teams. But the Bills,
Yeah, that's what you said last week.
choked. So
And then right after you said that, the Bills lost. I think you just need to stop talking about teams.
the Nuggets lost to the Thunder 119 to 93 earlier this season. All right, let's get to some news around the world. Around the world, around the world.
Around the world, around the world.
That's pretty good. Is your voice just automatically auto-tuned?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been T-Pain this whole time.
T-Pain this whole time. Oh, that's wild. All right. NFL divisional round just happened this past weekend. Did you watch any of these games first off? Was there a single game you watched out of these 4?
Yeah, I watched them.
Okay.
I only watched the first 2 because I was not home all day Sunday, so I didn't actually
Perfect.
get
That
to
works
watch
out
any of the other 2.
beautifully. You take the first 2, I'll take the second 2.
Cool. Ravens won, Chiefs won.
Some top tier reporting right there.
The Ravens
Give
game
the
was
people
not
what they
nearly
need
as
to
close as
hear.
I thought it was going to be.
It
That's
was
all
also
they
just
need to know.
it was also just a terrible passing game. Like I was
It
expecting
was
both these.
raining.
That's true. It was pretty sick. What was the
It was
game?
pouring heavy.
The
It was
the
like third quarter, and they're like, "This is the
49ers
heaviest
game.
it's rained all
The
day."
49ers game was super rainy too, because I think like Brock Purdy
Yeah, it just
started with
wasn't
like
a good week.
he started with like wearing a glove, and then the glove was too slick, so he went back to like his bare hand, and then the hand was too slick, so he started like just kicking the ball to pass it. It was like terrible. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was
passing
a
wise, it
rainy
was rough.
game. But the Ravens did what the Ravens do. They dominated 34-10. I lost some bets, I think.
Same.
Didn't get the score correct. I said it was going to be like a 4-point game or something, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I said 32-21. You said 32-28.
But Lamar still had 2 passing touchdowns
We
and
knew
2 rushing
we knew the
touchdowns.
Ravens were putting up 30 points though.
Yeah, but Texans didn't do anything. That punt return was clean. It was like 67
It was
yards. I watched. I was
so
like,
good,
"Oh,
dude.
he's cooking!" But
Yeah.
that was their only touchdown in only thing they did the entire game. So
I think it just shows how good Ravens defense is. Like the Ravens defense has been
I think it
dominating.
just shows how fraudulent the Texans are. No one should have believed in them this whole time. CJ Stroud is terrible. He should never play another game in the NFL.
Stroud for rookie of the year.
Yeah, probably. No, I was just kidding. I like Stroud, but I mean, he is a rookie, and the Ravens are super dominant. Like, if the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl, I don't believe in the NFL anymore. There's a script somewhere because
I keep forgetting how solid of a defense they have, and then they'll play a team
super solid defense,
and like the team will put up like 6 points, and yeah, offense will drop another 60, and it's just like, what did I just watch?
Their offense feels like those games, like those basketball games, where the guys will just be dribbling down court, do a 360 and just throw it, and then just like jog back to the other end of the court, and you're like, what is happening right now?
And then they
that's
swat
what
the heck
watching
out
the
of you.
Ravens. Yeah, that's what watching the Ravens feels like because they'll just be like, "Oh, shovel pass for the head," and they'll just catch it and then run and then like touchdown for 50 yards. I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's disgusting. And I mean, Lamar had 2 rush touchdowns because legit, if you don't put a QB spy on Lamar, he's just gonna roll out and then just take off for 80 yards. Or he's just
Even
gonna
if you
roll
do have a
out.
QB spy on him, like he's gonna get past you.
Right, he's gonna roll out, your linebackers are gonna suck in, and they're just gonna throw it for 70 yards. It's just like, there's no option. And the Ravens play the Chiefs next, and the Chiefs did terrible at stopping Josh Allen and containing him. And Lamar is probably like twice what Josh Allen is, especially as a running quarterback. So they're gonna,
Oh yeah,
if they don't game plan
and a
this
better
week for
defense
Lamar,
than the Bills.
oh yeah, they're gonna get picked apart by the Ravens, dude.
What's funny is my brother last night he was like, Lions are going to win the Super Bowl or something, which I don't know who's feeding him crack at school because he also said that the who played in the NBA finals? Was it the Heat?
Just
Who's
recently.
who's Jimmy Butler on?
Oh, he was on the Heat. Is he still on the Heat?
Whoever played in the finals, he was like, they're going to win against the Nuggets. And I was like, you know nothing about anything if you think the Nuggets are losing the finals to Jimmy Butler. And then he tells me all the time it's because he had a coffee company or something that he was more focused on. I was like, that's not at all what was going on. But last night he was like, the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. And I was like, if the Lions even get to the Super Bowl, they're going to be playing the Ravens, who destroyed them this season
Yeah.
already. They already played and they destroyed the Lions. If you're delusional, he's like, no, the Lions are better. I hate talking about sports because he knows absolutely nothing about sports.
The issue is the Lions always keep it a close game, and I just don't think you can do that with the
Not
Ravens
when it's
because
the
they will.
Ravens.
Right, they will. Even if you keep it a close game, and it's like, oh, Lamar Jackson has the ball with 10 seconds left, and they're down by 3. Ravens are going to win that game. Like they're like the Ravens are going to take advantage of any
Man went
time they
took a
have
dookie
offensive
in the middle
possession.
of a game, came back fourth quarter, scored a touchdown, and walked off the field. Like
Yeah, like they're going to take advantage
Lamar
of any
Jackson
time
is
they have the
him.
ball. Like so, in the Lions' defense has been looking rough. Again, they've barely won these games, and
That's what was insane when they started the season was their defense.
yeah, and so if they can get their defense fixed this week against the 49ers, I feel like a Ravens Lions Super Bowl could be, if they can beat the 49ers and it's like a good game. I think Ravens Lions could be a great rematch, especially for a Super Bowl. Um, but then if they beat the 49ers and it's like 9-3, then the Ravens are going to stomp all over the Lions. Like, yeah, it'll be a good testing ground. I mean, it'll be obviously like if you get to the Super Bowl, you have to prove that you belong there by beating the good teams, you know. But I think like the Ravens have already proved that they belong to the Super Bowl this season. I think if the Lions beat such a good offense as the 49ers and can get past a good pass rush that the 49ers have, then they're definitely proving that they belong in a Super Bowl.
It's funny because salty KC fans, which hate feeling like I'm dogging on KC lately because I like them. I
You
like
used to
Patrick
be a
Mahomes.
huge
I like.
KC person. This season has been a just game changer for you.
I mean, I'm not. I was never like in
Not
love with them, but
huge,
I've always been
yeah.
like, yeah, they're awesome. Like they're good. And I hate feeling like I'm dogging on them, but I hate their fan base, and I hate the Swifties that are sucking them off all the
It has been
time.
so wild to see this
So
change in you.
I like I said, I hate that I feel like I'm dogging on the team because I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm dogging on the fan base. They're like, yeah, we want to play the Lions in the Super Bowl because blah blah blah. And I'm like, because you're sad that you lost them the first game of the season. Like
Right.
when they lost the Lions the first game, they're like, yeah, how's your Super Bowl feel? That's your Super Bowl. And now it's like the Lions have a potential to get to the Super Bowl. I don't
Yeah.
know if KC does. They're playing the Ravens. If they
They're
beat the Ravens, there's a script. There's a
they're
script, and
oh,
I
easily. They're playing the Ravens with a receiver core that has the most drops in the NFL and
yeah,
really just no offense at all. Playing against probably the best, second best offense in the league after like McCaffrey and George Kittle, right? Like George Kittle and McCaffrey are pretty solid. Um, but like the Ravens are a solid offense. Chiefs defense has been good, but like
And
I, I like they've gotten away with a lot. I'd say I I'll call it where I see it if it seems like a game's being called a certain way. It feels like a lot of the Chiefs games have been that way, but I'm also not going to be like, oh, we lost because the refs. The refs are having out. It's just like whatever. But I don't know, dude. It's just wild the Chiefs are in the conference championship because in the regular season it feels like they did not play like they deserve to be in the conference championship.
yeah,
So if they beat the Ravens,
but
that'll
being a fan of the Chiefs, I will say they're usually clutch in like clutch moments.
true.
When they scored a touchdown against the Bills with 13 seconds left, or a field goal, or whatever
To
it
be
was.
fair, they got good position, field position, because the Bills decided to do a fake punt with Damar Hamlin.
No, when they played like 2 seasons ago,
Oh yeah,
and they scored with 13 seconds left to win the game. It was like 16-21 or something with like a minute and a half left.
yeah,
Both teams scored 2 touchdowns. Chiefs tied it up, and then they went to overtime and won. Like it,
yeah.
Chiefs
So
have clutch moments. I will say
they
that,
do
but
step
it's harder to have clutch moments this season when they don't have much of an offense.
when it's like Mahomes has been still and probably will continue to be a clutch final moment quarterback. He's someone that if it's he's like Aaron Rodgers in his prime, where you're like, there's still 3 seconds on this clock. Aaron Rodgers is about to win this game. I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah, I
Right? Like
hated that about the Packers.
like
like I hated
you're like
that.
they're on the opposite 20 and I still know they're winning this game. Mahomes is literally like that.
Yeah,
The issue is it doesn't matter how clutch you are. If you can throw a 70-yard dot in Kadarius Toney or Marquise Scantling, still drop it. Like that's just
close
not
their
on
eyes.
you. Like what was it? It was the game. It was like one of their last regular season games where he aired it out, game winner, and he just goes, "Whoop, missed it. I dropped it," and
Whoopsie!
they lost the game.
Ah!
And so it's tough. I'm glad Mahomes is having to go through this time of being like, this is what it's like when you don't have receivers who can catch everything you throw at them. Because he's had great
Yeah,
receivers his whole time at KC. So I think it's making him a better quarterback too, because it's like, shoot, now I've got to he's been running a lot more this season, I feel like. And I feel like he's really had to just force the ball into tight spots because he's like, I've got to get this exactly in their hands or else they won't catch it. And so I think it's strengthening him, but um yeah. I mean, they beat the Bills 27-24. I thought it was going into overtime like everyone thought it was, and then the Bills
yeah.
missed the field goal, just so depressing.
And their kicker got death threats, so.
Yeah. Do you see
But
that
now
James
his organization has a bunch of money, so
there you go. Do you see James Cook started the fourth with 67 rushing yards and ended the game with 61 or something?
and just getting stuffed will do that to you when you're just a grown man getting stuffed in the hole.
So Buccaneers versus Lions. The Lions won 31-23.
They
um,
did, they did.
Mayfield had a solid game. I mean, 26-41, 349 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which the one of them was to lose the game. I will say that happened, and I was like, it made me sick to my stomach watching Baker throw that. I'm a Lions fan. I wanted the Lions to win. I'm also a big Baker Mayfield fan. When I was talking to my
Love
dad,
Baker.
and we both were just like, we wanted the Lions to win, but we didn't want it to be Baker Mayfield's fault that the Buccaneers lost. And then he threw that, and you're just like, oh. um, have you seen the huge controversy where the Buccaneers could have had a chance to win the game, but they just didn't use a timeout to force a punt?
I've seen that, but some comments were like, no, it was a glitch on the thing. They didn't actually have one. I've also
Someone
seen,
said on the stat sheet though, it says they used their second timeout at the 1 minute mark or something, so they still had a third one.
well, and someone also said that in the press conference, the coach was like, it didn't matter, which it didn't because the Lions had a huge completion that put them in field goal range.
They would have kicked a
So
field goal, but it was like a 42-yard field goal, and everyone he was like they would have made the field goal, and it's like yeah, but later that night the Bills lost because he missed a 38-yard field goal or something. Like, it's not always
Right.
automatic.
Definitely still try for it, but I can understand where it's just like I've had those moments. I mean, mine aren't in professional sports games for millions of dollars. Mine are in video games for no money. But I've had those moments where I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like I could do something, and I
Yeah.
could, like in Rocky League, I could score this goal with 30 seconds left, and we're down by 3. The probability of us winning is pretty low. I just don't
Mhm.
really care much anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, he definitely could have called a timeout. The Lions did mess up by snapping the ball with like 20 seconds left on the
They got too excited for sure.
yeah, like they definitely could have sold it, but at the same time it's like, you know, we're assuming he's going to get this field goal. We've played this game. We're
Yeah.
so beaten up mentally after that interception and the game that we're having. I can understand for sure, but it is crazy. It's like just try at
At
least.
least give it a shot.
Um,
Give Baker a chance to do it again.
the Packers 49ers game, I didn't watch it.
That
Like I
was a
said, I wasn't
close
there,
game
but um, the Green Bay kicker missed a field goal,
Yep,
and there's a
earlier in the game.
Madden YouTuber that I watch. He's super big on sports, super big on football. He went to the Packers 49ers game. I was listening to him talk about it, and he was like, everyone's like dogging on Green Bay's kicker for missing a field goal. The 49ers also missed a field goal. Like they
Mhm.
also did not hit a field goal.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if both of them hit it, they still lost by 3.
yeah.
Yes, obviously, if it hits, it ties it up, goes in overtime, maybe they win, but you're not guaranteed an overtime win. And you still have to be like, 49ers also missed a field goal. If we're assuming 49ers hit that field goal and the Green Bay kicker hits the field goal,
Still
you're
a
still
loss.
losing by 3. Like, and then I love the thing too, where it's like, if you want to win games, make it more than a 3-point win or like
Mhm,
a 3-point
mhm.
loss. Like you have to be doing more. You can't
Yeah,
just blame your kicker because, oh, you missed at this crucial moment. If
yeah.
the offense or defense had done better for the entire 59 minutes and, whatever
Yeah,
seconds,
I do
we
get
wouldn't
being
be in this
like
position.
I get being like, kickers are hired for these clutch time wins, you know? But it's like
Yeah,
you're saying, it's like
100%.
the kicker has the ball for maybe a total of like 3 minutes in the whole game, counting all of their
Yeah.
PATs and field goals, right? The rest of the offense has the rest of that game with the ball, right? So you're telling me that this kicker who gets the ball 3 minutes is expected to win every single game when the offense can't do it in what, an hour's worth of playtime? You know? Like,
Yeah.
how is that on the kicker's back every time? Like you said, if you
And
want to win
I'm not a
games, like
kicker.
put up more points.
I've never been a kicker, but I've always been on their side. I'm like, they're not making as much money as your quarterback is. They're not
Mhm.
making as much money as the wide receivers, the line, the defense. They're making like almost the lowest money on the team, but you're expecting them to go out and win because these high paid dudes couldn't do anything for an hour.
These are the same dudes who are
Like,
on the
stop putting the
sideline
pressure on them.
for most of the game warming up, but then it's like you're gonna expect them to just kick and warm up for an hour, hoping eventually they'll get a field goal chance. Like,
Yeah.
no. So then they're coming out, they're like, all right, like kicking my first field goal of the day at, into the third quarter. Hopefully it goes in. I've been only kicking into a net the whole day. Like, well, you have
I hate
quarterbacks,
that kicking in the net thing because it's like you can't tell where that's gonna go.
right?
You're like, yeah, it looked like it was straight for the 3 feet that it went in front of me. Like you
Yeah.
have no idea. That net is awful.
But then you'll have a quarterback who's like, oh, my arm's not quite warmed up yet. And it's like, bro, it's the start of the half. Like, you've had a whole half to warm up and you're still like missing passes like this. Come on. So, conference
Also, the
championships, though.
dude that I was watching,
Mm.
stop talking. The dude that I watch, he is a kicker, and he was like golf, you need to be watching that all the entire time you're kicking it. And he said, while we're saying it's not always on kickers, the Green Bay kicker, he showed the replay, and as he's kicking it, he's looking up, because he
Mm,
wanted to see it go in. And he's so young of a kicker, like he's like, "Oh, all of this is on me.
yeah,
I want to kick this, put it in, and make it." And then he missed. And he was like, if you watch Justin Tucker, he's staring at that ball the entire time he's kicking.
that's fair.
And once his foot is all the way up in the air, that's when he's looking up at it. So
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we got some more league changes. For not just football, but for NBA. Like I said, the Bucks fired their head coach. They hired Doc Rivers, who, after Greg Popovich, is probably one of the most famous NBA coaches in the league right now. But the Bucks are still they're paying 3 head coach salaries right now because they've fired so
saw
many and
that.
hired another one. So
Maybe you
it's just
sent it to me,
yeah,
but
I think I
yeah,
sent it to you guys. It's insane. They're second in the East with like a decent record, and they fired their head coach. I think what I read in the report was he was losing a lot of like respect and traction in the locker room. Apparently, like players just weren't wanting to listen to him anymore, and so don't know what's all there, but that's
it's like,
wild.
shut up, man.
He's just like, all right, it's the video of Drake's kid where he's like, if he goes left, then you need to make him go right. And guys, we dribble the ball, and they're just like, man, shut up.
Shut up, man.
Um, Brian Callahan did fill the Titans head coach position. He previously had 5 seasons as the Bengals offense coordinator, so it'll be interesting to see. Kind of depressing that Derrick Henry's leaving as a probably decent head coach who has good OC experience is coming in. But
What's
and then
crazy is like people talk about this, like, oh, this team got this team's OC and
mhm,
stuff. But then you have to think, you're like, well, now that team needs an
right,
OC.
who are
So
you
it's like
filling that?
all
Yeah,
these teams are like, oh yeah, we're just taking this guy's, defense coordinator, offensive coordinator, head coach, and it's like, well, now that team, what's that team doing? Like, do they already have a backup plan, or what's?
yeah, true. And then Antonio Pierce fills the Raiders head coach position. He was their former linebackers coach. So that's a huge jump from linebackers coach to head coach. But we'll see what he does. I mean, maybe they'll fire him in the
Stays
middle
with
of
the
the
team
season.
though, so he knows
Yeah,
like
he's got
the
the rapport and
probably
stuff.
will.
Um, and then these ones are written by you, but Packers aren't rehiring their
These
defensive
ones are
coordinator, Joe Barry. I'm glad you added more to it because I couldn't find any more stuff. Packers aren't rehiring Joe Barry, their defense coordinator. Um, which is kind of crazy because I feel like their defense was pretty good this season.
Well, I think I saw something on that NFL page we follow on Instagram, and it was like they did not want him back. Like, I guess they felt that
Wow.
defense is the reason they lost this season.
Hmm. Um, Dolphins defense coordinator Vic Fangio is parting ways with the team, which is probably for the best because Dolphins defense was not good this season. Vic Fangio is not a good defense coordinator.
Was he
Um,
on the Broncos?
yeah,
Did he coach the Broncos?
so it's been a dark time. It was a dark time then, and it continues to be a dark
As I was
time.
writing it, I was like, I'm pretty sure he was a Broncos coach, and they were like happy when he left.
Yeah, imagine they take him back. Yeah, he was the head coach, and then I think he went
Thought
to.
so,
Oh,
yeah.
this says that he's looking to end up in with the Eagles.
Well, if you read that
Wow,
last one, the Eagles need an OC.
there you go. You want to talk about this Bears one? Are you excited? I don't really know who this guy is.
So the Bears hire Shane Waldron as their offensive coordinator, the former Seahawks offensive coordinator. I also know nothing about him, but he was one of the most sought after offensive coaches.
Oh,
So, um, and then I saw some comments that were like, the Seahawks ranked like lower than the Bears in like these offensive positions. I don't remember what they were. I didn't take time to look at it because there were other comments that were like, yeah, but he was playing with like a bottom five O line,
mm,
like just all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, clearly, if multiple teams are looking at this guy for OC, he must be doing something correct.
yeah,
So I'm not going to say I'm happy about it because I haven't seen anything from him yet, but a lot of pages that I follow on Twitter that are Bears like accounts are saying that it's a good hire. I also saw something that Matt, I think is I can't remember our head coach's. I think it's Matt Eberflus. Apparently, when he was hiring offensive coaches, when they were interviewing and stuff, he like mentioned that he wanted to keep Justin Fields on
Mm,
and keep
okay.
like building with Justin Fields. So that looks good. I've also been meaning to talk about this, and I don't know how much to read into it because obviously nothing has been announced about Justin Fields. Um, the Bears are one of the teams playing, I believe, in London
Mm,
this season. They're one of the out of state games, and all the promos for it, Justin Fields is one of like the three people that is on the cover.
hmm,
And again, I don't know if that's just because he's still on the team.
right.
He's still technically the QB1. I don't know how much to look into it, but that feels like a
Could be
good
a good
sign.
sign.
And
Yeah.
then, usually when the season ends, players are taking a break. They're
Yeah.
not, you know, working out as much, if at all. They're taking trips to warmer places, out of the States. I think just last week, Justin Fields was in the Chicago Bears like workout center. He was working out hard. He's doing like full workouts. It feels like he's still going to be a Chicago Bear.
Yeah.
I personally, if I was like, oh, this team's not taking me back, I wouldn't be in their workout center working out hardcore
Right.
when I could be off in Cancun. I would be in Cancun. Like I'd be
Right.
like, yeah, you guys don't want me. I'm not going to spend my off season training super hard. So again, I don't know how much to look into it, but
Could be good.
it does feel like Justin Fields will be here, and I'm glad that we have a new offensive coordinator that could work around him and grow Justin Fields.
Was this the Seahawks offense coordinator from this season then? Was he just there?
Yeah,
Okay. So the Seahawks are
I
lost
think
their head coach and their offensive coordinator. Um,
they've
but
lost a lot, which is why they were looking at who are we talking about? The Cowboys DC.
oh,
What was his name?
yeah,
We talked about him
we
so much.
talked about it a lot last week.
Dan Quinn.
Think it
Quinn's
is.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. Well, the Seahawks had a decent offense this season. I mean, it wasn't obviously like amazing, but
It wasn't
he
insane, but
worked well with Geno
like
Smith, I
everyone
feel
was
like.
saying,
And I feel like if
yeah, and
he
they
could
didn't have
utilize
like an
Geno
O line
Smith,
and stuff.
yeah, and I feel like if he could utilize Geno Smith, who's like a decent quarterback, I feel like he could utilize Justin Fields, who has way more skill sets than Geno does. Um,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting. I
Oh,
think
that's
that's
another thing. Shane Waldron was born in Portland, so
oh okay.
I thought maybe you could connect because he's an Oregon
I
fellow.
actually know him. We were born in the same hospital.
Oh, now that you say
We might
that,
have been. I don't
we
know.
used to hang out when I was an infant, and he was
A teenager or
25.
something. um, the Raiders are interviewing Luke Getzey. Um, you said LOL. Why did you say LOL?
Luke Getzey's the Bears OC that they just fired. That was
Oh, is he
absolute trash at
really?
being an offensive coordinator.
Okay, that is pretty funny.
I think it's funny the Raiders were like, we really need to step up our offense. Luke Getzey's available.
One of the worst offenses in the league. He wants to come here? Yeah.
He wants, yeah, get him over here now. The Raiders were really like, oh, the Bears beat us. We should probably take their OC that they just
He could
fired.
beat us,
Like
and they're probably
we're gonna
good.
get them back.
Who's Jim Harbaugh meeting again with for head coach?
Oh wow, yeah, I just straight up didn't write the team. The Chargers.
Okay, I figured there's like
He
been a lot
flew
of
to LA like
yeah.
yesterday or something, and he's meeting with the Chargers again. So
There's been a lot of
I've heard a
speculation
lot
he'll
of
go to the
things that
Chargers.
he's most likely going to the
Which, if
Chargers,
he
which
does go to the
sucks.
Chargers, that could be a Super Bowl run right there.
Stop. I'm kind of hoping the Chargers do absolutely awful, so I feel better as a Bears fan that we didn't
Get him?
get him as a head coach, but we'll see.
Oh, that'd be wild.
I'm hoping the Chargers are just
That
like
makes
one
sense
and
now because
five.
there have been a
That
lot
doesn't
of
even make sense.
people
1-16.
they forfeit the rest of the season because they start 1-5.
I hope they stop playing after 6 games.
I hope they're 1-5-11.
To tie 11 games in
Oh
a
my
season is
gosh.
gross.
That makes sense though, because a lot of people on Twitter are saying that the Chargers are going to win their division next season, and if they have
You
Harbaugh, then
forget that the Broncos are in the division, though.
yes, sir. All right. In the NBA
And the
West,
Raiders might get Lugetzi, so I mean,
that's even more evidence the Chargers will take the division. And Vic Fangio might come
you
back
just
to the
said two things
Broncos.
that are leading to the
We
Chargers
just confirmed that they have
taking the
one team to
division.
beat in the division, and it's the Chiefs who don't have a team anymore.
As of right now,
Imagine more players leave in the offseason. All right. NBA West. The Thunder have taken over the lead at 30-13, with the Timberwolves right behind at 30-13. I think the Thunder. I think the reason the Thunder are first is because they beat the Timberwolves a few nights ago.
I would
So
assume so, yeah.
between the two, then Lakers moved up a spot to ninth place at 22-23. So
That makes me sad.
I know it's weird we don't have our Cowboys hate tracker anymore, so the LeBron one's even more needed.
Lakers hate tracker.
Um, in the East, the Celtics are on top at 34-10, with the Bucks right behind at 30-13. So not quite right behind,
Right
but
behind with 4 less wins and 3 more losses.
that's disgusting. The Bruins are leading
You're a funny
their
guy.
division 29-9-9, and the Rangers theirs 29-15-3 in the East for hockey. And the Jets and Canucks are still on top in the West. Jets 30-11-4, Canucks 32-11-4. The Avs are second behind the Jets at 30-14-3. So they're still keeping it close. All right, let's get to some next week in sports. I guess you can do football and I'll do NBA. And then it's not on here, but I've got a little surprise for next week in sports. So
Well, now I'm scared.
about cricket.
We have the Super Bowl this weekend.
What?
I was just kidding. Conference championships. Chiefs versus Ravens. Like I already said, if one of these teams wins over the other one, it is clearly scripted because there is no way one of these teams should beat the other one. And then we also have the Lions versus the 49ers. This one is honestly a toss-up to me. I genuinely don't know. I could see it either way. I'm not going to say that one of these teams deserves to win.
Yeah.
But
I'd be
if we
happy
go
with
off
either.
of the... I'd be happy with either. Actually, I'd be happier with the Lions because the 49ers are boring to watch. But
Yeah.
if the 49ers win, it will be leading to that Super Bowl logo thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been leading up to it, and it's already crazy that we're this close.
This close to it. And the whole like news thing being like the Ravens versus 49ers in the Super Bowl. And everyone's like, I don't know if that's just them speculating or like what, but
no, there's no way you speculate by saying two teams like that, but
it actually happened.
I could see 49ers winning though, especially because I think it's at 49ers. So
yeah, it will be. It'll be their first. It'll be the Lions' first playoff game this season without or not at home, and I think that home field advantage has been huge for them because if you listen to the game, you can't hear anything on the field because people are hyped.
Well, yeah, I was telling have fans.
I was telling Megan though, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we tune into the game on like Sunday or whatever, and half that stadium is in blue. Like I would not be surprised if Lions fans walk to that game if they have to, just because of how dedicated their fan base is. Right, like I could see them filling that stadium. So,
well, that's funny you say that because I told my mom last night. I was like, guys, if the Bears have a Super Bowl run next season, I will sell my body or something to get money to go see them. Because
when you have a team who's been
insane.
had this much of a drought for like playoffs and Super Bowls, and they finally have
They've
they're
won
this
Super Bowl in
close.
the last like 67 or
Yeah,
one playoff win in the
yeah.
last like 67
And they're
seasons or
this
something
close to a
or
Super Bowl,
years.
you're going to those games,
Yeah,
bro. Like, so
100%.
it'll be interesting to see how much of a home field advantage the 49ers actually have. Because if the Lions do take over that stadium, I could see Brock Purdy getting so shaken by it, and the Lions
Oh
take it because of
yeah.
that. Um, I'm sure Lions fans are already buying Super Bowl tickets, knowing that they'll go to both games. So it'll be good football, I think. Um, as for NBA, we got some fun games this week. 76ers Nuggets would be on the
Another
27th,
matchup.
Saturday. Be a chance for the Nuggets to get it back after that loss. This is also coming hot on the heels of Embiid dropping like 70 in a game. So this
Yep.
could
Yep.
be
Yep.
a
Yep.
good fight.
But Nuggets are at home, so they
Yeah,
have that this time.
yeah, that'll be good. Lakers Warriors also on the 27th. Both teams haven't been like performing like they did in the past, but I feel like it's always fun when Curry and LeBron play. So I think this could be a good game to watch. Timberwolves versus Thunder rematch on the 29th, Monday. This feels like it's like feels like they just played like 2 or 3 days ago. Um, but now they're getting another one. So I mean that'll be cool, especially because they are fighting for that number one spot.
I guess
Um,
say they're tied. I mean, I guess no, they'll definitely play a game between now and
yeah,
29th.
yeah. So it could shake it up. The
Yeah.
Bucks and
I was gonna say
Nuggets,
this is tiebreaker, but
right? Bucks Nuggets play on the 29th as well.
that
These
should be a
are
good one.
both teams who are fighting to get that number one spot in their respective conferences. The Bucks will be performing with Doc Rivers as head coach. There's just a lot of factors in this
And the
that will make
Nuggets
it.
will be at home, so
There you go. And then Nuggets Thunder, the 31st, Wednesday next week. That'll be a good game, I think. That'll be a fun one to watch. It's another Nuggets Celtics type game where it's like these are the teams that you're gonna have to prove you can beat if you're gonna make another championship run. So we'll
I
see how
think
that one
Nuggets
goes.
have it. I just feel
So
like
too.
they have that one.
And then my surprise this week, starting tomorrow, Cracked Gaming is starting their Rocket League tournament, and so we'll be keeping you guys
And we're in
updated.
it.
We're in it, baby. We'll be keeping you guys updated on all of that.
It wasn't hard to get in it, guys. We're not good. We just said
We
our
want to
names
join.
and we got put on the schedule.
No, but Crack Gaming is a organization that is starting to try and take off. So we thought we'd give it a shout out. We're excited to be a part of it. And yeah, we'll be
Not a
dropping
sponsor.
updates on standings and matches and let you guys know how it goes. Hopefully it'll be a couple weeks long, so we have plenty to talk about.
Yep.
Moving on to some hot takes.
Hot
So
cakes.
I found on Twitter, I found this one post. Someone said, "Give me your 2024 to 2025 NFL season hot takes." And I was like, "This is perfect. It's wrapping up this season. Let's start looking at what's happening next season." And there's some wild takes in here, but I don't think terrible, but just some very interesting ones.
That first one's crazy.
So someone dropped their exact prediction for NFC North records, which is kind of wild. This person said Lions 13-4, Packers 11-6, Bears 9-8, and Vikings 4-13. Who do you think
I don't
ruins
know the
this for?
schedules. Well, I don't know the schedule. I know the
They're
schedules
not
are
out.
out.
Yeah, are they out? Did they?
Oh,
Oh,
they
they
are
did
out.
release them.
They don't have like I guess I don't know if they have the dates that they play them, but they do have like who they play at home and who they play away. So I don't know if Lions have like a strength of schedule
Mm,
and Vikings have a super hard one. I don't see why the Vikings would be 4-13. I see them being at least 9-8, at least. And Kirk Cousins is coming back. The Vikings said that they want him still, like they're not looking at another quarterback. So
hmm
I don't see why they would be 4-13. Bears 9-8. Again, we haven't seen anything with the OC yet, so I don't know. 9-8 doesn't seem awful. It doesn't seem great. Packers 11-6 is crazy. I guess if they get a defensive coordinator that helps them, um, if that really is what's killing them. But
hmm
again, we'll have to see. Hoping Bears can finally beat the Packers after 5 seasons or something.
So I
Um,
found the Lions schedule. The Lions will do 9 at home, 8 away, because apparently they rotate every season. So this season they did 8 at home, 9 away. Um, their home games will be Packers, Chicago, Vikings, and then Rams, Seahawks, Jaguars, Titans, Buccaneers, and Bills, all home games. I feel like they could win all those games.
that is
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
and then away games will be Packers, Bears, Vikings, Cardinals, Texans, Colts, 49ers, Cowboys.
So the Lions might go 13-4.
That's an
That's
insane
the
schedule.
easiest strength schedule I've ever even heard in my entire life. Like, who
Yeah.
makes these things? Oh, they had a super big run in the playoffs and they might go to a Super Bowl still? Who has the worst record and we should have them play them?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I want to find the
Hmm.
strength of schedule for the like rankings for next season. The Browns have the toughest schedule next season. That's heartbreaking. Um,
Crazy because they don't even know what they're doing for their offense yet.
right. All right. So here's the ranking of every team's strength of schedule for the upcoming season. Uh, so it says like win percentage. Is that like their projected win percentage or what? I'm so confused.
I'm
Or like
assuming it's win percentage of the teams.
that they're playing. So like the averaged
Yeah,
out of all the teams.
I'm
Browns
assuming.
have the hardest. Percentage is 55%. So most of the teams they play have a winning record.
Yeah.
Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Packers, Texans, Bills, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Lions at a 51%, Rams, 49ers, dang, Cowboys, Jets, Chiefs. Okay, pause real quick. All the photos they're using for these teams are their quarterback throwing a football. For the Jets, it's Rodgers holding up a jersey with his last name on it. Because he's thrown like 2 passes for the Jets and they didn't get
And they
photos
weren't
of him.
good.
Um, Jets, Chiefs at 50%. Commanders, Bengals, Vikings, Broncos, Titans, Colts, Eagles, Dolphins at 49%. That's under the the win. Seahawks, Cardinals, Chargers, Buccaneers, Panthers, Bears at 47%. Falcons and Saints have the easiest schedule. So the Bears have the
So
third
Bears,
easiest.
Bears gonna, which is crazy because they're ranked third in just the NFC North with 9-8. So
Yeah, I know. Like the Packers were pretty high up there too. Um, so it is weird
made
that
one of the hard ones.
yeah they had like yeah.
I don't
Bears
know. People are sleeping on
Bears.
the Bears, but
Here's the Bears home games: Lions, Packers, Vikings, Rams, Seahawks, Jaguars, Titans, Panthers, Patriots. Away games: Lions,
wait,
Packers, Vikings, Cardinals, 49ers,
wait.
Texans, Colts, Commanders. So you guys are playing all 4 teams in the NFC West: Cardinals, 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and all AFC South teams: Colts, Jaguars, Texans, Titans, which people say the AFC South is one of the like worst divisions out there.
Yeah, if you have a 9-8 record, you're probably going to the playoffs.
Yeah. So that is pretty easy schedule. I could see the Bears placing higher on this NFC North list. Then that's crazy. Another hot take for next season is Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions' rookie running back this season, will not only lead the league in rushing yards next season, but also win Offensive Player of the Year.
I could see that, especially with so many, well, not so many, but with Derrick Henry
Mm,
kind of falling off and then leaving the Titans. Um, Jonathan Taylor for the Colts kind of
kind of
fell off and got
wishy-washy.
injured and stopped playing. There's a lot of teams that don't even have like an established run
I'd
game
say
at this point.
Christian McCaffrey is the obvious opponent for this, but I don't think
Right,
the
that's why
49ers
I took back
use
my
they don't use McCaffrey as much as the Lions are starting to use Gibbs. Like they've really realized like, oh, Jahmyr Gibbs should just get the ball every play, and we'll just win this game. And a
Yeah,
lot of
McCaffrey stopped having his 200-yard, 4-touchdown games.
like halfway through the season. So
Yeah.
I could see it, especially if the Lions do want to use Gibbs more this season than they did, or this next season than they did like this season. Kind of tagging along with that, someone else said that the Lions get the Super Bowl next year. That's when I could also see if they spend the offseason building up their defense. It's gotta they on the
Yeah,
draft
that's
they
kind of
gotta be
outlandish. That's kind
building
of
up
odd.
defense. So we'll see. I mean, they're in the conference championship this year, and we know they're clearly getting a playoff spot next season with one of the easiest strength of schedules.
They still have to play the Bears.
True, twice. Um, Someone said all the NFC North will have winning records.
That's actually so funny because I saw a meme that was the NFC North like talking to each other, and the Lions, Bears, and Vikings were like, "Oh, guys, we're like one of the best like built divisions. Like we're all building, we're all young, like we have like so much potential." And then it was the Packers, and they're like, "You're nothing. You will never be anything, and I own you all." And I was like, that honestly, and I think I even said this. NFC North is like one of the best
Yeah,
divisions
they've always been
realistically
competitive. They've always been
because they're
super
all
competitive.
pretty. Yeah, they're all. I mean, not even, but they're all like fighting each other. Like they're all in the division last season. It was like almost 3-3 for
Mm-hmm.
all teams. So NFC North has always been one of the top divisions. Obviously, I like the Vikings. The
Mm-hmm.
Bears are my team. But definitely with the way the Lions are building and the
Yeah,
Bears are starting to actually get a build together,
Jordan Love's doing
I could
solid for the
totally see that.
Packers. If
Um, actually, I could see 3 NFC North teams having a winning record and the Packers being like 0-17.
What's so funny is the Packers could win all their NFC North games and still have this exact record because that'd be what 6 wins. So then that means they'd go 5-6 outside of their division, and then Lions, Bears, Vikings would get 2 losses from those Packers games, and the Packers still could be like bottom of their division. They could still be like, "We own you guys." And it's like, yeah, but you're also have the worst record. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. The NFC North is definitely becoming probably one of the worst divisions to play against because no matter who you're playing out there, you're going to have a tough game. These next few come from at Umish Basketball on Twitter. I had to tag him because these are some crazy takes, and he needs to know.
maybe he should stick to basketball.
The first one: JJ McCarthy is not only going to Atlanta with Bill Belichick, but they're going to win a division title together.
We're not even sure if Bill Belichick is going to Atlanta.
Part of his thing was saying that Bill Belichick's going as well.
That's
I don't know.
crazy because they're
I,
still interviewing.
right.
I almost put that in today. They're still interviewing people for head coach
I
jobs.
like
So
JJ, so I don't want him to end up with like Bill Belichick and become like the new Tom Brady who everyone hates and like is
I already
corrupted.
hate him.
Cool. Do you think that Michigan's quarterback going to Atlanta will get them a division title?
No.
Cool. Um,
Atlanta sucks. Like a rookie QB
they have
from
Bijan
Michigan who,
Robinson, don't they?
yeah, they don't even use him. There was legit one game he had one rush for 3 yards.
True.
One. And he had three. Like, Atlanta is not a team that's going to do anything for at least 3 more seasons. Like,
Yeah.
and they're not even like trying to build or anything. They think they're going to hire a head coach and that's going to solve all their problems.
Yeah. He did also say though that the Chargers will take the AFC West. I can get behind that one. I think,
I could see it
especially if they get
if they
Harbaugh.
play right.
But he also did say that the Dolphins will take the number 1 seed in their conference. Um, I don't think Vic Fangio
Yeah.
is that much of an issue for the Dolphins that they're going to
You did see
dominate.
their defense play.
It's fair. Did say that Rodgers will get hurt again, which I think we can all bet
Yeah.
on that one. And he wrapped up his
How many
hot take.
plays?
True, that's over under on plays till he gets hurt.
Over under
Um,
5.
he did wrap up his hot takes with Fields going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's so dumb.
That's such a
Why do
random
they?
team.
Why does everyone think the Pittsburgh Steelers want every Bears quarterback. That's where Mitch Trubisky went.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably
That's
why people
literally where
think
Mitch
that.
Trubisky is right now. Like, why would they also be like, you know what? Let's also take Fields and whoever you draft next can also come here. Like, no,
Um,
Bears are keeping
yeah, those are
Fields
some
for
interesting
sure.
takes. Another hot take we got: Max Crosby breaks the sack record next year. The record is 22.5. I don't know if he's doing that. I think that's kind of a wild one.
I think
Um,
he's washed.
wow, that's a hot take right there. Um,
That's why I said it. We're not a hot take segment.
someone did say that Fields is going to the Falcons and will do quote unquote amazing.
I think Fields will do amazing, and it's crazy that he's going to win a Super Bowl for the Bears this season.
Well, this other person did say the Ravens are getting back-to-back Super Bowls this year and next year.
That's not too hot.
I could
Ravens
see
are
that.
insane, and especially if they build their wide receiver room this offseason.
Yeah, they're a good
If
point.
they build everything just like athletic wise and make them a stronger force and also add on wide receivers that can do stuff,
Yeah,
that's not at all a hot take.
not at all. And last hot take
This one
is
is.
Jets make the playoffs next year. Putting a lot of faith
That's
in
pretty
Aaron
hot.
Rodgers. Yeah, that's wild.
No, Jets will not do anything at all.
Jets will have
So
a losing record.
Jets will probably just retire everyone.